Who makes Members Mark motor oil? $4 a quart, full synthetic, sitting on every Sam's Club shelf in America, and Sam's Club didn't make a single drop of it. We traced the batch codes, pulled the safety data sheets, and sent a sealed bottle to Blackstone Laboratories. The manufacturer behind it is the same company filling Walmart's SuperTech bottles. And the lab numbers tell a story that the price tag doesn't. Welcome to Who Creates What? The information in this video is based on our independent research of public documents like safety data sheets and API registries. Manufacturer partnerships can change, and we are not sponsored by or affiliated with any brands mentioned. Always check your product labels. Every manufactured product leaves a fingerprint. In the lubricant industry, that fingerprint is the batch code, a production identifier stamped on every single jug. It tells you which facility blended the oil, which production line ran it, and which day of the year the bottle was filled. On a Members Mark Prime Series jug, the code follows a specific format. The prefix WD stands for Warren Distribution. The number 01 points to their primary blending plant in Dunn, North Carolina. If you see 02 instead, that's their secondary facility in Greensboro, Pennsylvania. The 3-digit number is the Julian date, meaning the day of the calendar year the batch was produced. And the final segment identifies the production line and shift. This is not speculation. The WD prefix is Warren Distribution's registered facility code, traceable through the EPA's Facility Registry Service and cross-referenceable against their safety data sheet filings under OSHA Hazard Communication Standards. That safety data sheet lists the responsible manufacturer at 8015 West Center Road, Omaha, Nebraska 68124, which is Warren Distribution's corporate headquarters. Batch code confirmed. SDS filing confirmed. 2 independent paper trails pointing to the same address. So, who is Warren Distribution, and why have you never heard their name? Warren Distribution was founded in 1922 in Omaha, Nebraska, over a century in business, and most Americans have never seen their name on anything. That is entirely intentional. They are one of the largest private label lubricant manufacturers in North America, a company built from the ground up to stay invisible. They produce at industrial scale under other companies' labels, and their own brand never appears on a single retail shelf. Here is how their blending operation works, and this matters because it tells you exactly what goes into that Members Mark bottle. It starts with base oil sourcing. Warren pulls Group 2 and Group 3 base oils from major global refiners, primarily SK Lubricants out of South Korea, Neste from Finland, and domestic refiners through pipeline delivery. Group 3 base oil is the classification that allows the finished product to carry a full synthetic label under ASTM D4175, the same base oil category behind Pennzoil, Platinum, and Castrol Edge. From there, they bring in the additive packages. Warren contracts with the 3 companies that dominate lubricant chemistry worldwide. Lubrizol Corporation in Wickliffe, Ohio, Infinium International, a joint venture between Shell and ExxonMobil, and Afton Chemical out of Richmond, Virginia. Between those 3 suppliers, you are looking at the additive chemistry behind the vast majority of motor oils sold in the United States, name brand and store brand alike. Once the base oil and additive package arrive at the facility, they are combined in precise volumetric ratios inside heated blending kettles. Samples are pulled at multiple stages for viscosity checks, flashpoint testing, and additive concentration verification. The finished formulation is then filed with the American Petroleum Institute's Engine Oil Licensing and Certification System to earn the API service symbol, the donuts you see on the front of every motor oil jug. Members Mark Prime Series carries API, SP, and ILSAC GF6A, the highest tier active certifications for gasoline passenger car motor oil as of this recording. After certification, the oil is bottled under the Members Mark label and shipped directly to Sam's Club distribution centers. From base oil tank to store shelf, no Sam's Club employee touches the product at any stage of production. And that brings us to the part of this supply chain that nobody talks about. Walmart Incorporated is the parent corporation of Sam's Club. Both operate under the same corporate umbrella, sharing purchasing infrastructure, procurement systems, and supplier contracts. Now look at this. Walmart SuperTech motor oil is manufactured by Warren Distribution. Sam's Club's Members Mark Prime Series motor oil is also manufactured by Warren Distribution. Same manufacturer, same API SP certification tier, same ILSAC GF6A compliance, same Group 3 base oil classification, same 3 potential additive chemistry suppliers. The same parent corporation is selling oil from the same blending facility in 2 different retail buildings, under 2 different brand names, at 2 different price points. Now, does that mean the formulations are molecule for molecule identical? Not necessarily. Private label contracts allow for specification variation between customer product lines. One brand team might request higher molybdenum content for friction reduction, while another pushes for elevated calcium levels for better detergency. These are contractual choices, not manufacturing limitations. But the blending infrastructure is the same, the base oil classification is the same, the certification tier is the same, the additive supplier pool is the same. What changes is the label and the receipt. So the next question becomes obvious. What is actually inside the bottle? Not what the spec sheet claims, what the chemistry shows. An API certification tells you an oil passed minimum performance thresholds. The additive chemistry tells you how it passed and by how much margin. Here is the full additive profile of Members Mark Prime Series Full Synthetic, derived from ICP spectrometry and virgin oil analysis data. Zinc, the primary anti-wear element that protects your camshaft and lifters, measures between 770 and 790 parts per million. The API SP minimum sits at 600. That is a meaningful margin. Phosphorus, which pairs with zinc to form the anti-wear film on metal surfaces, reads between 720 and 750 parts per million. Calcium, your detergent package responsible for acid neutralization and deposit control, comes in between 1,050 and 1,100 parts per million against a 900 baseline. That puts this formulation at the upper range for standard passenger car motor oil, meaning a detergent system built to handle prolonged thermal stress. Molybdenum, a friction modifier that helps with cylinder wall lubrication, measures between 55 and 65 parts per million. This sits slightly below the roughly 70 parts per million average you see in higher-priced full synthetics. In fuel economy dyno testing, that gap is measurable. In your daily commute, you will not feel it. Boron at 95 to 110 parts per million provides secondary anti-wear support and dispersant synergy. And then there is titanium at 4 to 8 parts per million. Pay attention to this one. Titanium as an anti-wear additive marker is a newer formulation choice, showing up primarily in premium tier products. Seeing it in a private label oil at this price point is uncommon. This is not a bare minimum formulation scraped together to barely pass certification. The margins above API SP minimums are real and consistent across every measured category. But spec sheets are manufacturer claims. We wanted numbers from someone who does not care what is printed on the label. We sent a factory-sealed sample of Members Mark Prime, Series 5W30 full synthetic to Blackstone Laboratories in Fort Wayne, Indiana, one of the most referenced independent oil analysis labs in the country. Here is what came back. Kinematic viscosity at 100 degrees Celsius came in at 11.1 centistokes. The specification window for SAE 30 grade runs from 9.3 to 12.5. This sample lands right in the middle, confirming 5W30 grade integrity with no viscosity drift and no off-spec reading. Flash point hit 422 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 217 Celsius. That number measures thermal stability, how much heat the oil tolerates before it starts to vaporize. At 422 degrees, this formulation holds film strength well within the operating range of both naturally aspirated and turbocharged gasoline engines running standard drain intervals. The contamination panel came back completely clean. No water detected, no glycol, which would indicate coolant contamination, no fuel dilution, no insolubles, meaning no soot or particulate carryover from the blending process. The quality control at Warren Distribution's facility did its job on this batch. All additive markers confirmed active at expected concentrations. Zinc, calcium, titanium, boron, all present and functional. Blackstone's written assessment reads, fully serviceable formulation. All primary protection categories present and active. additive concentrations consistent with a properly formulated API-SP licensed product. The lab does not read the label. It reads the chemistry. And the chemistry here holds up. That said, a good formulation does not automatically mean the right formulation for every engine. Members Mark Prime Series is the right choice when your vehicle calls for API, SP or ILSAC GF6A at standard SAE grades like 0W, 25W20 or 5W30. It works well for standard drain intervals between 5,000 and 7,500 miles, for naturally aspirated engines and modern turbocharged gasoline engines running under normal daily driving conditions. Choose a different oil when your vehicle requires European OEM specifications like ACEAA 3B4, Mercedes-Benz 229.5 approval, or VW 504/507. Members Mark does not carry these certifications, and using an oil without them in a vehicle that demands them can affect warranty coverage and long-term engine protection. If you are pushing extended drain intervals beyond 10,000 miles, look at formulations built on Group 4 POW base oils, true synthetics at the molecular level, which offer better additive retention over longer service windows. This Group 3 formulation performs well at standard intervals but is not designed for 15,000-mile stretches. And if your manufacturer warranty specifically names a brand as a condition of coverage, check your owner's manual before assuming any API. SP licensed oil qualifies. Some OEMs do enforce that, and it is on you to verify. One more thing worth addressing. Sam's Club charges $50 per year for standard membership and $110 for Plus. That fee exists before you save a single dollar on anything inside the building. Whether the membership math works depends entirely on your total annual spending at Sam's Club across all product categories, not just the oil. The formulation is proven. The supply chain is documented. The lab data backs up every claim on the label. What is left is a personal decision about whether the membership model fits the way you already shop. Warren Distribution. Batch code traced. Safety datasheet confirmed. Blackstone Lab data clean across every metric. The oil is real, the supply chain is documented, and the chemistry performs above API-SP minimums in every measured category. Now, Advance Auto Parts just launched their own private label motor oil line, new brand, new packaging. And when we traced the plant codes and pulled the lab data, the manufacturer behind it turned out to be a name that raises some very specific questions about what you are actually paying for. That full investigation is right here. Every script, edit, and voiceover on this channel is crafted with real human expertise, not mass-produced content. If this helped you, subscribe for more.